everybody, welcome to this playthrough for Master Division for the Community Cup in Golf Clash the Game. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. And before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also visit golfclashtommy.com for more Golf Clash related content. Get the text guys by becoming a subscriber to patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Link in the description down below. This is going to be a tournament with a lot of drops. Oh my freaking god. And it's going to be interesting to see if there will be anyone shooting -40 or lower. If it's going to be a tournament, this is the tournament going to be. There is already scores out there with -16, 17, 18, 19 on the scorecard of 9 holes. So study the playthrough closely and get the text guys as well to give yourself an advantage over your opponent. Info box on the right hand side where you see the elevation adjustment for every shot, combined with what type of ball that I would suggest be the best one to play with, combined with what type of clubs I think is going to be key clubs in this tournament. And obviously, if you do have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. So let's go to hole number 1. We go to hole number 1 and we are going to see this one as a very important hole. We kind of need to get a drop here if we're going to have something to do with winning this tournament. It's an extremely good opportunity in my opinion. A slight part of the yellow ring outside the rough there. We start by adding 3 backspin, 1.7 left spin. Then we want the ball guideline to the left side of the pin. Once that is done, we change to 2 backspin, 2 left spin, adjust from maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment using power 2 ball settings. Then we adjust and then we're gonna take our shot. One crucial thing here for this shot is to have an 11:59 pull angle, which means that the arrow is going to pend from center to the left. Not as we had now where we'd go, you know, back and forth over the center. The reason we do go short here and do not reach enough distance is due to we are not using the correct pull angle. That's how simple it could be. So if we're using the correct pull angle and hit perfect with these adjustments, I'm not gonna promise, but holy cow, it's going to be a lot of hole-in-ones on hole number 1. For hole number 2, we get a very easy win. And now it's all about finding the correct topspin and adjustment together here, so we do not go totally over the rough there. We do need to make sure to use 7 bars of topspin and as much side spin to the right possible. We want the second bounce to be clearly into the rough, with the third bounce also clearly into the rough, because in tailwind the ball is going to carry further than normal, and then we're going to have to adjust like that. Otherwise we're going to fly way over the rough. You can see we clipped the rough with approximately 2 rings margin, which is nice. Maximum distance with no over or under adjustment, so no elevation whatsoever, and we play from max distance even though we aren't in max distance. But the reason we go with max distance is to compensate for the tailwind that we are having here. So this is a simple shot. We get through the tree, easy one. We can play with a kingmaker and we don't really have to think anything. No curl whatsoever. There is a curl shot around the trees, which also is very good, which I might going to come back to further down in the tournament. But at the moment we're going to go with this one here to take ourselves a simple and easy eagle and then just be done with it. Okay, so we do come to the toughest hole in this tournament, which is hole number 3. Max topspin, max right spin, and I'm using a Win 4 Power 4 ball, which is in this case the Werewolf ball. You do have Season 10, you do have Cyber, but Cyber has such a bad ball, such a bad needle speed that the Werewolf or the Season 10 will be better. Max overpower is what we want to go with, and we need to make sure that we do not hit great left. Because if we do hit great left, we're gonna danger going into the rough on the left hand side. You're almost always going to be very close to the rough there, but I have yet to fall down into it. So it looks extremely scary, but you shouldn't be afraid of it. 10% over adjustment for the drive. Second shot is going to be with the Guardian, and we're going to have to go with a decent amount of backspin here. This is a shot that I have yet to dial in myself. It will take time because in the end it's going to be a difficult hole, this one, to play. Have in mind though that sometimes you might not go as far as you wanted with your drive. If you play with an Apocalypse level 6, level 7, you have less topspin than Apocalypse level 8. And if you do have Apocalypse level 5, I do not suggest you to play this route at any point, because you will not reach enough, and then you will danger not reaching after the bunker there, which is going to be very, very difficult in the end. Sure, we are close, but not really close, not close enough to see that as a drop opportunity, at least there for the second shot. 10% over adjustment. So what do you do then if you do have a lower level Apoc, or you just want to play for an eagle and don't risk anything on the right hand side? That is to play on the left hand side. And the thing that I want you to do is to give yourself a power 4 ball. A Wolverine ball would be good as well. Otherwise a general power 4 ball like the Athlete, the Open ball, the Dead ball would work. Leave 1 to 2 rings gap from the left side of the white ring with the rough there, because now with a great left here, we are going to clip the rough and roll out, because we do want at least have a little room to hit great left. The trick there is to go max curl, max overpower, and be able to hit great left, great right, and then be able then to roll a decent amount. So we do have an open shot towards the pin. But if we do not get enough distance, which we most likely will not get with an Apocalypse level 5 or level 6, or if we do clip the rough, it's only to play for the green here, guys. Like, just don't think about the Albatross. The Albatross from this side is gonna be coming with a lot of luck to it, if I'm going to be, you know, honest. So we're just gonna take this one to green, not going to do anything special about it, and just have a pot making the eagle here. So if we do want an Albatross attempt, I would say go right side. But in the end, if you do play with a lower level driver in Apocalypse level 6, I would go left side, because I think it's too much of a risk going right. For hole number 4, we are going to play with the Feather Ball or Daruma Ball. We want side spin 3 and we want 2 bars backspin. So we start by adding backspin and side spin. Max side spin, 2 bars backspin, red ring by the rough line with the ball guideline to the hole. The reason I like this approach better than many of the other opportunities or situations out there, it's due to us having a much easier landing spot to replicate. Because now we have a firm red by the rough with the ball guideline to hole, which is 2 very clear references to work with. Medium distance with a 15% over adjustment is what we're gonna do, and then we're going to take our shot. In this scenario here though, it's like I do have my thoughts about how to tweak this one based on the wind strength. But in the end, we get this ball in and we come extremely close on the right hand side of the pin there. You know, look at the info box, you see I use an eyeball there. The reason I do not have a feather ball or a Daruma ball there is because I do not have any pictures of them. That's why I'm using a feather ball to display that you at least understand that it is a Win 5 ball that we are going to use. Good chance on hole number 4 as it is on any other par 3 in this tournament. For hole number 5, I would have to say that this is the most boring hole in this tournament, because in the end, this is not really an opportunity. Here I'm using 6 bars topspin and max side spin to the right to just display that you can play this shot with whatever Apocalypse you might have. So you don't have to have an Apocalypse level 8 to play this type of shot. Maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment. Once you line up, make sure that the ball guideline with the spin added is pointing straight down the middle there, in between the sand and the rough, in between the sand on the left and the rough on the right. Now we're going to go with a decent amount of overpower. I would say that this could be a little bit too much sometimes, but in the end use around 25 to 50% of overpower, and then just a slight curl to the right there. The curl there is needed as for, you know, if I hit a great left, it's easier then to compensate for that by having a little bit curl added from the start. Second shot here, we're going to use the Guardian, and the Guardian, due to we need all the backspin that we can get. Max backspin, 1 bar side spin to the right, and here I would like us to be closer to the sand there in terms of our adjustment. We're going to adjust now medium distance with a 10% over adjustment, and once we have done that, we're going to apply curl once again. So this is going to be the curl that we're going to use, approximately 90% of the ball outside the adjustment ring to the right. Great left is not what we wanted to, but in the end, I'm not seeing this one as an opportunity. The plan was to get the ball to roll up the hill a little bit longer and then fall back down towards the pin. We get semi-close, but hole 5 together with hole 3 is 2 holes that I do not expect anything else than the general birdie here for 5 and general eagle for hole number 3. So take it easy, take the birdie, or get prepared to for hole number 6. For hole number 6, we are going to start with the Apocalypse. Here I'm using 7 bars of topspin, and then I'm going to let the target be just there where we have half of the yellow ring on the fairway and half on the rough. And then we're going to, after that, go with a maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment. And we're going to go with full curl and also some overpower. Sure, we could use a power 4 ball here, but I think by going, you know, a minor bit of overpower or a little bit more, it's not gonna make such a big difference for me. So I'd rather go with a little bit more overpower and then make sure that I get myself a little bit nicer time for the second shot. We were very close to the rough there, so make sure you use enough overpower so you do not clip the first piece of rough. That would be horrendous, and that would be something that would be very difficult to get back from. Second shot, I'm actually going with the Guardian. And the reason I go with the Guardian in Master is that I have for some reason an extremely difficult time to hit perfect with the Sniper. I don't know why, but it's something with just Master tournaments that for me, I have a very hard time hitting Sniper perfect. But the Guardian, I can hit perfect almost every day. So in the end, we're looking for a backspin shot. Max backspin, 1 right. We are aiming for the top right corner of the green with the tip of the ball guideline, and slight curl against the wind, and we want to catch the funnel. And just to add here, this funnel here from the top right is going to be possible to get with a great left and great right and also perfect. So we do have some margin for error there. I used from that range medium distance with no elevation whatsoever, and we got ourselves a nice albatross. And I do feel personally that if we can't get to long iron range, then this is going to be the shot that I'm going to take on hole number 6. For hole number 7, we are going to play with a power 2 ball win 5. It's going to be the Aurora, Turkey, Arrow, Rugby ball. We do have plenty of them. Now we're going to start by adding backspin and side spin. 5 backspin, 1 side spin to the right. And then we're going to use the white ring by the rough line with the ball guideline, I like the tip of it, falling down just 1 green square right of the pin. Technical adjustment, but that is what we're gonna do. Medium distance with a 20% over adjustment, and then we're going to hit perfect, and the ball is gonna come in here very, very close, making a hole-in-one. This is a tough par 3, one of the few ones in this tournament, so if you do claim a hole-in-one here, you will definitely have that as an extra bonus. For hole number 8, we are going to pull out the Thor's hammer, if we do have it in level 6 plus, because we do want to have the top spin, and we do want to reach as far as possible. Max top spin, and then we are going to look at the ball guideline, like wanted to have the ball guideline coming in from the right, being down to the center of the fairway. Then we're going to adjust maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment. Once we have done that, we're going to apply half a ball of curl. Don't forget to push up your target into max after you have done your adjustment. Then in the end, you can stay away from using overpower if you want to, or that you use overpower depending on how far you want to go. I want to get into absolute minimum distance. That's kind of what I want, so I can actually have minimum distance here on the green. I'm using the rapier here as a wedge so I can find the minimum distance line. Now, okay, on this shot here, we're playing 4 bars of backspin and we're letting the ball guideline go through the hole. Very important. And the thing is, I move slightly up from minimum distance as we do have a little tailwind, so I obviously don't want to go in between clubs here. we're using no elevation, or I'm using no elevation when taking this shot. And the thing that I need to do is to actually play this one minus 5%. So if I play minus 5%, we're gonna get this ball in the hole, but you're going to see how close this one is getting, where we get it almost down and then it takes a lap around the hole. So very close, but this is going to be a very important hole, and I do see a Win 5 Power 3 ball be very beneficial. You can play with a different ball as well, but the plan here is to get as far as possible, but go to short iron range minimum distance. One thing that you can do, if you don't want to go with like a general shot like I'm doing there, you can go for the dunk, which will work as well. It's just going to be a slightly different adjustment. For hole number 9, we are also going to play with the Thor's Hammer, because we do want to have a lot of topspin. So if you have Thor's Hammer 6, 7 or 8, you use that before you use any other club in the whole game. Even Apocalypse level 8 should be removed as for a Thor's Hammer here. We are only looking for one spot here on the fairway, on the rough there by the island. We're only looking for a spot, and that spot is what we are going to try to replicate. We do have a lot of room for error here, so we can hit great left, great right, and also be slightly off with our position. Max topspin, and then 1.5 bar side spin to the left, and then then overpower is obviously going to be the tricky part. But as you do have a low wind with a Berserker, which is going to be somewhere below 14.5, then go with a decent click of overpower. But if you have around 16, I would suggest to not go with overpower at all. And that's obviously going to be the trick, because if you go short, that's going to be a very tough wedge on a course where an albatross is going to be, I would say, necessary, because as we can drive green, it's going to be played much more simple. Berserker ball all the time, and in the end, you know, very easy par 5 to say, and an albatross is in my opinion a must. Thank you so much for watching this playthrough for Master Division in the Community Cup. The video here is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Get the ultimate tournament text guides by becoming a subscriber on Patreon. Link to Patreon is in the description down below. If you join our Patreon, you will also get access to our Discord, where you know, you can ask questions directly to me based on the guide, and I can share videos there based on the guide as well going forward in the tournament. It's going to be an easy tournament. I do see we're gonna have maybe the lowest score ever in Master to qualify for the weekend round. I do think some people making minus 30 will have a hard time getting to the weekend round. We will see though. But in the end, good luck in the tournament and kill it!